All right, you guys. So now that you have arrived in the Netherlands, we're gonna say what the first thing you should do is when you arrive in the Netherlands. Now, the first thing you should do when you arrive in the Netherlands is you should look for housing. That should be the first thing. If you are fortunate enough to have a friend or family member like I was, then it's not as bad, but eventually you do have to leave. So housing is something you need to do first before anything else, before bank card, before anything else. Housing is the first thing you should do when you move to the Netherlands. Now, if you so happen to be fortunate enough to have a person who owns their own house or someone who allows you to live with them for a while, but they allow you to live with them in a sense that they give you permission, a document, like a permission for you to live with them, then you don't have to rush so fast and all of that, depending on your agreement with them. But even if you have a friend that you're crashing by, you can crash by your friend, but you won't be able to do anything. Like, you still can't get a bank account without having some type of rental agreement. So that's the goal here, is you need a rental agreement. However you get that rental agreement is up to you. If you have a friend, as I said, who owns their own house or whatever, maybe they can give you a rental agreement document. Or if you're staying by a friend and two people are allowed to have a rental agreement under their place, maybe that'll help you. If you don't have those options, then, and you're just crashing by a friend, then you crash by a friend, but you have to start house hunting. If you are renting a place, like a, I don't know, an Airbnb or just like a housing, something for like 2 weeks, since you just moved here, you don't know anybody, then you have to just start the house hunting process. And matter of fact, before you even come to the Netherlands, I would already start to look for housing, because the housing market in the Netherlands is crazy. At the moment, there's a housing crisis going on. And it's just ridiculous. So before the housing crisis, it was even pretty bad, but now with it, it's even worse. So I would say that before you even come to the Netherlands, you should already be looking. You should already be booking appointments, because they go so fast. Like, they go really fast. And the thing what they do is when you go for these appointments, you aren't the only person seeing it. Like, you are in a group of like 3-4 people that sees the places. So you already see that other people are very interested. And if it's something that you like, I would have everything ready, like all the documents that they would ask for, maybe even the money ready to put down on a down payment, ready to sign, like have everything ready. Even have it like on your phone, like your ID and, you know, like certain documents that they might have in their listing that is a requirement. Have it already ready on your phone so that when you want it, you send the email right away. My friend was telling me the story about like her place, like, because she went to view it, and she saw the one spot, because the landlord was showing 2 places in the same building, and she saw the first spot, and then she like, okay, and then she ran to the second one. I saw it, and it wasn't as good as the first one. So she, before everyone else got to the second one to see it, she ran back down and she was like, I want this one. So, and it's the better one. So then he was like, okay. And then the other girl comes and she's like, oh, I want this one. And he was like, oh, but she already said she won this one. So it's like a race. Like, you have to be quick with it. Even when you go to view them, like, I remember there was this one place I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this place. And then I went to view it, and then right away I was like, I want it. And she was like, okay, send me the email with this. And I had it already lined up, and I was quick to send it. So she already secured that for me, and then it was gone. So it's like a race. Like, you really have to be prepared. A lot of people apply for housing, like the ads. So even to just get a viewing is like ridiculous. What else? When you are looking for places to rent, there's many different places you can go on to look for it. And you can Google it. There's something called Kamernet. I think it's more for like rooms. So if you want like a roommate situation, there's like something called Huurwoningen. There's like Funda. There's Expatica, Parais, or something like that. So there's so many. You can look at them. But what I will mention, and this is something important to know, is that you need to pay for these websites in order to respond to the ads. So you could see like some great ads, but you need to pay for it. And that was very different and interesting, because I was just like, what? You have to pay to reply to an ad? Like, that's crazy. So yeah, like when you sign up for like Huurwoningen, I think, or Kamernet, you have to pay, I think, like 15 euros for the month to apply to the housing stuff, like the ads that respond to it. So that's something you guys should be aware of. Some of it is free. I think Funda might be free. I forgot, to be honest, but for the most part, majority of them you have to pay for. Marktplaats is also free. Marktplaats, you can also find places to rent. So I have a girl that said that she found a place on Marktplaats, which I thought was very strange, because it's like a marketplace. It's like a Craigslist or a Kijiji, but you do find places on there. So that is free. You could check there. Probably Funda, I think, is free as well. I don't remember, don't quote me on it, but the other ones like Huurwoningen and Kamernet and a bunch of others all have to pay. And the problem with that is you have to pay with a European bank account or like a Dutch bank account. And if you're new here and you don't have that, especially if you come from like North America or the Caribbean, or I don't know, somewhere else that's not really Europe, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that, unless you have like a friend who you can pay the cash and then they put their bank account info in, but it's kind of difficult. So I don't, yeah, it is different, yeah. So I recommend starting to figure that out before you arrive, because they go very fast, and then to get the appointments, and then it's a process. Sometimes you don't qualify, especially if you don't have like your social as yet, or you don't have like a proof of job or anything, especially if you're gonna move here to start working. And you know, like they would choose probably someone that's more stable, which, yeah, it depends on, again, on what your situation is, like what are you looking for. If you're looking for like a apartment, like a nice one in like Rotterdam, which it's gonna cost a little bit, or like Amsterdam, they're gonna want to see like, what's your job, can you afford it, can you this, can you that. And you know, if you have all types of, like, you're just new and you don't have a job, like, you know, even if you saved money, like they might just be like, I don't, you know, they might give it to somebody else that has more, like already less of, you know, a liability or whatever. So I want you to bear that in mind. So the first thing you should do when you move to the Netherlands is you should start looking for housing even before, because it's so difficult. Right now, the requirement is to find housing before you get here, which is kind of impossible because you can't even view the place. And how will they let you view it virtually and then allow you to like give it to you over somebody who's there in person looking at the place? So I think they just did that to set you guys up so that you guys don't move to the Netherlands at the moment. I think they just don't want nobody else in the Netherlands at the moment, because I don't understand how you're supposed to find housing before getting here. That's like impossible, because just finding it when you are here is crazy already. But that's just temporary, the housing situation, the housing crisis. But yeah, just bear that in mind. So yeah, the first thing you should do is look for housing when you get here, because you can't open a bank account. You can't do anything else without having housing, because you need the rental agreement. If you have a friend, as I said, or you have someone have a way to get a rental agreement, then your problem is a lot easier. You don't have to worry too hard about other things. Once you have the rental agreement, you go and you sign in and you get the base and you get the social. So in order to get the social, you need the rental agreement. So you just need to figure out and try to get that rental agreement as fast as possible so that everything starts to go quickly. So that's the first thing you should do when you move to the Netherlands.